Grace and peace, brothers. I hope you're all having a blessed and fantastic day today. In today's training, I'm going to be speaking about why you keep talking yourself out of starting every evening and how you can close that window. Specifically, we'll be going over 7 things. First, the self-negotiation, the intention-action gap, the hesitation window, your future self, the no deadline trap, the pre-decision protocol, and 7, just some action items so you walk away from this video with something you can actually do tonight. By the end, you'll have a name for something that you've never been able to explain. Let's get right into it. And before we start, if you want help building a system that closes this window for you, click the first link in the description, apply to work one-on-one with me. Now, let's get right into it. Understand that you've been diagnosing yourself incorrectly the entire time. You probably told yourself multiple times, oh, maybe I just need more discipline. Oh, if I was more motivated, maybe if I had just a little bit more willpower, or maybe I just need to use this better app. Maybe I just need to wake up earlier. And again, this advice makes sense, but only on the surface level. But that's not what's actually happening at 7 p.m. when you're tired, getting off a long day to work, and you have to actually focus on your own goals. And you simply tell yourself, oh, okay, I'll just start after this episode. I'll start in 20 minutes. Let me get some time to cool down, recuperate. But it doesn't work. That's why you're watching this video. And again, the real problem here, it's not that you have a discipline problem. Your problem is that you get stuck in this loop of self-negotiation, constantly convincing yourself to not do the work. You sit down, going to start the task, but then you start to feel just a little bit of friction. Then you close the laptop without ever starting. You walk away from the keyboard, the book that you were going to read, the skill that you were about to learn because it felt too difficult. I was too bored. I didn't know how to start. So you simply progress towards the path of least resistance. Because discipline is just try harder, right? So you try harder, but it doesn't work, right? You keep constantly returning back to the same situation. Nothing changing, nothing getting done. Self-negotiation now, on the other hand, simply means you need to design different. Even from Pitchell, right? Something he was studying this as well, right? Ultimately, coming to the conclusion that procrastination is not due to poor time management. More specifically, it's successful mood repair at the wrong time horizon, right? Procrastination comes because you're trying to avoid a specific feeling, right? But again, it's successful in doing that, but you're doing it at the wrong time, which is why you procrastinate, which is why you never get the work done. But again, there's a specific mechanism behind this, and this is something that's been researched and well documented. This being the intention action gap. This was a study done by Goldwitzer, who spent 30 years studying this at NYU. Right? And he identified that there are generally 3 stages when it comes to procrastination. First, there is stage 1, right? This is the intention. You've made the goal. You know what you need to do. You've set the kind of metric in your head. So tonight, I'm going to work on this for 2 hours. I'm going to, read this book. I'm going to learn this skill. I'm going to start the business, right? Whatever the case may be. But then stage 2, this is where you hesitate. This is where your goals die. The pause. Negotiation window opens roughly 5 seconds before your brain's threat system engages. Now, the scary part about this is where that negotiation takes place, right? I'll cover this a little bit more in the next slide, but you start coming up with reasons why you should not do the task. Then stage 3, this is where you rationalize. Oh, I'm too tired. I'll do tomorrow. And again, these aren't necessarily lies. They feel true, but that's why they're so effective. It's because they feel legitimate. They feel like genuine reasons why I should not do the task right now, why you shouldn't get it done, right? And again, you're not just reasoning your way out of starting. You're rationalizing a decision that your brain already made. And I know this seems a bit abstract, but this is going to become a lot more relevant very shortly. And again, the bit here being that negotiating happens in stage 2. This is your window. This is what needs to be fixed, right? Because in the lab, okay, subjects who hesitated more than 5 seconds before acting on an intention almost never followed through. Excuse me. Meaning that this 5-second window is of utmost imperative. It is the most important window that you're going to experience throughout your day. Excuse me, I just ate some chicken and mashed potatoes. It was pretty good. But in any case, right? Again, this 5 second window needs to be explicitly you need to be explicitly aware of this because the entire battle is within this pause. It's not in the follow through. It doesn't come before, but in that 5 seconds, it's going to make or break whether you achieve your goals. And even something that Mel Robbins observed, right? Once this hesitation starts, your brain stretch system starts to generate different reasons, right? So the longer this pause lasts, the longer you hesitate, the more the more material rather that your brain is going to have to rationalize why I should not do the work right now. I'll push it off. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm too tired. I don't know what to do. I'm feeling overwhelmed, right? All these different reasons that begin to rationalize, they begin to make sense. Oh yeah, I should just push this off until later. I should just do it at another time because logically it makes sense, right? All these reasons, right? All these kind of methods, right? These explanations as to why you should not get the work done now. So you're not failing discipline. You're losing a 5 second window every single evening. Again, this is something very significant, right? So again, this is self-negotiation, right? This is this internal bargaining that you run between the moment you intend to start and the moment you don't, right? And again, this is what's really happening at 7:12 when you get home, about to start that task, but simply can't for some reason. It's not that you're lazy. It's not because I'm just too weak for that. But it's a very specific psychological mechanism. But by the end of this video, you're going to have a word for it. And the word is the beginning of closing that window. So here's the language of self-negotiation, right? These are the exact sentences that your brain is going to produce, the exact rationalization chains that you're going to run through to convince yourself out of getting the work done. After this episode, okay? Again, I'll just watch this episode. Once it ends, get up, we'll get the work done. It'll be great. It's gonna work. But this is a false precision. The episode ends. Next one starts right up. Netflix got that autoplay. You watch the first episode of Peaky Blinders or Bloodhounds, right? It just automatically goes to the next one. It's so interesting. It's so fascinating. It's so much more captivating than getting the work done. Just gonna keep watching it. Oh, not worth it right now. This is a time threshold excuse. It's 9 p.m. The full session never comes, right? Again, it's like, it's already 9 p.m. I don't even have enough time to get the full session in. I'll just do it tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, nothing happens, right? At some point tonight, you're probably going to tell yourself this. You've probably been telling yourself similar things all week, right? Oh, I do the best on the weekends, right? Oh, yeah, I'm going to be so charged up, fired up, rested, no work. It's going to be great, right? False optionality. The weekend fills up. It always does. Oh, I don't have enough time. I got to do this. I got to do that. You wonder why you never make progress towards your goals. Again, but each of these contains a grain of truth. That's why they're so effective. Again, because maybe you do work better on the weekends, or maybe maybe it's really not worth it. Or maybe you will do it after this episode. But it's a very, very small maybe, right? It's like just a sliver enough of a possibility that your brain rationalizes this into being an effective reason as to why you should not get something done. And again, this reasoning, even in the first place, is generated by the avoidance instinct, right? Then rationalized into something plausible, into something tangible, into something real, right? And from that rationalization, you have now convinced yourself out of making progress towards your goals. And again, the deeper script behind this, right? These are harder to catch because they sound like wisdom, right? Oh, I need to be in the right headspace, right? Oh, I'm just not mentally, okay enough right now. I'm not in the right mental space. Let me just cool down. Let me recalibrate. Once I get ready, I'm going to hop into this task. I'm going to get a lot done. But you're waiting for a feeling that follows action, not precedes it, right? That feeling of being in the right headspace is not going to come until you've been sitting at the computer for 20 minutes working on the thing that you've been avoiding, right? The feeling is never going to arrive before the action. Oh, I just need more research. If I understood the task a little bit more, if I knew this aspect and this method and that framework, then I'd be able to get it done, right? But again, it's preparation disguised as sophisticated avoidance, right? Research feels like progress. It feels like something tangible is happening, like you're getting something done, but you aren't. You know you aren't, but you simply don't want to face that reality. What if it doesn't work? What if I fail? Right? All of these things, right? All of these kind of um reasonable rationale, right? Oh, this makes sense. Okay, maybe you do need more research. Maybe if you understood it, maybe if you had all the context in the world, you could sit down and just get straight to it, right? But again, I'm going back to what Pitchell was able to study on this, right? Procrastination, it's an emotion regulation strategy. You're not avoiding the task. What you're avoiding is the feeling that the task elicits from within you, right? You don't want to feel that feeling of non-clarity, or what's the non-clarity? Unclarity. That's what I was looking for. You don't want to feel that feeling of unclarity, of confusion, of tiredness, of boredom, all of these things, right? So, negotiation, it's not you failing at logic, right? It's simply your emotional regulation system, right? It's working exactly as intended. So, I'm gonna just optimize for right now at the cost of myself tomorrow, at the cost of future me, at the cost of later. Excuse me. But this is something that was found within Hirschfield study, right? But when you say I'll do tomorrow, you're not outsourcing it to a future version of yourself. You're just passing it off to a stranger. Because what the Hirschfield study is that neuroimaging shows that when you think of your future self, the parts of the brain that activate are the very same parts that activate when you're thinking of a stranger, some acquaintance, somebody who is not you. And again, the problem with that is when you're pushing something off to your future self, you're not giving it not giving that task to someone you like associate with, someone you understand, someone you have deep connection with. You're giving it to a stranger. Oh, that guy. Oh, yeah, he'll take care of it. Right? It technically has nothing to do with you because that's not you. Future you, in your own mind, it's not yourself. It's just some random, acquaintance, some acquaintance you've got in the office, somebody you don't really care too much about, right? Offloading that costs your future self feels as cheap as delegating it to a colleague that you don't really care about, right? You could care less about, right? So you're not lying to yourself, right? You're genuinely outsourcing the cost to someone you just happen to share a body with, or someone you never seen before. You don't really speak to that guy. He's just off in the corner doing whatever it is that he does. Oh yeah, he'll take care of it. He'll be able to handle it, right? Not you, just some random stranger that you see every now and then. And even when it comes to something else that was discovered within the study, but temporal self-continuity. The more distant your future self feels, the easier it is to accept the loss tonight. Again, this coming from that same Hirschfield study, right? When showing people age regressed photos of themselves, their future selves, it made them significantly more conscious of their current actions. I believe specifically this was like saving habits. So the people they show these images to of what their future self would look like, depending on the decisions that they would make, they were more likely to save more money, which would kind of put them in a better position later in life. Again, so there's think of it like a spectrum, right? People with high continuity, high temporal self continuity, meaning that high association with their future selves, vivid identification, right? The cost of not starting tonight feels personal rather. The cost of you not getting the work done right now, it feels genuine. It's connected to you. But to those with a very low continuity, someone who, when thinking of their future self, it's just like, oh yeah, that stranger. It's just Jim from down the street, right? Something distant, you don't really care about that guy. It's very easy to just offload anything in their present to him. Oh yeah, he'll take care of it. Like no regard for, whatever this person, is doing or has to deal with later on. So the distinction here, rather the distortion, is that tomorrow me is gonna have more energy, right? The me tomorrow is gonna be more fired up. He's gonna be more locked in. He's gonna be more efficient, right? That guy, he can handle it. Me right now, I'm too tired. Oh, this is boring. Oh, I don't even know what to do. That guy, he'll figure it out. He got it. He got it. Right. Again, so the intervention here is having more continuity with your future self, right? You don't need more discipline. You need to make future you feel like you. Um, and again, making your future self specific, right? Not, I'm just gonna build a business. I'm not gonna learn a skill. But okay, I'll be at 2K a month with this side business by March, right? A future self that you can live or lose, right? Something tangible that you can confirm or deny, not just, oh, like, what does work on the business even mean? It's like very vague. It's like, is work like, are you sitting down? Are you making a plan? Are you like sending outreach? Like, what exactly does it look like? Make it something tangible, okay? If I'm not at 2,000 a month by March, then I did not achieve that, or I didn't get it done. It has to be tangible, right? The reason you don't do that is because you're afraid of what it looks like when you don't hit it, right? But in doing so, you are confirming the reality of you never achieving that thing, right? When you make it tangible, specific, concrete, something that cannot be changed once it's put into the physical realm, then now it's like you're challenging yourself to achieve it in a sense. Like now the stakes are set. You have to hit that thing, or you have to face the reality of what that does to your identity, right? But again, you need something to kind of collapse that distance between you and your future self. And this is something that Tim Urban was able to come up with, right? But there's this thing, this concept, or this entity he liked to call the panic monster. Um, this was from, again, Tim Urban, but there's deadline procrastination versus no deadline procrastination, right? Comparing these two. And within the moments that they take place, they're identical, but the consequences are completely different. When you have a deadline, specifically an imposed deadline, not something you came up with yourself, but like a job, a deadline for a project or something like that, the panic monster is eventually going to show up. They're going to arrive and it's going to force action. Because again, it's something you literally just have to do, right? And you're gonna face the embarrassment or the failure or the cost of not being able to get it done, right? So the panic monster is gonna come, it's gonna take over and you're gonna lock in, you're actually gonna get the task done, right? But without that panic monster, without some externally imposed deadline, then self-negotiation is going to win every single time. Something that Arlie was able to define within one of her studies as well was that even self-imposed deadlines are significantly weaker than external ones, right? It's too easy to renegotiate with yourself. Oh, I told myself I would do this at 5, but I mean, I don't really have to. I'm kind of tired. I need to lay down. I need to hop on my phone, cool my brain off, scroll a little bit, right? Again, when there's no boss, when there's no due date, when there's no consequence tomorrow, if nothing happens, then what reason do I realistically have to overcome this negative feeling and actually get the work done, right? It's going against the grain. It's going against the status quo. It's the opposite direction of that path of least resistance. So naturally, your brain is going to have a very easy time negotiating, convincing itself as to why that thing should not get done. And a quote from Tim Urban: "The most dangerous procrastination is the one with no deadline. You become a spectator in your own life because there's nothing driving you to overcome that initial discomfort, to overcome that lack of activation energy needed to initiate the chemical reaction of you getting the work done." So again, even going into James Clear and even the Gold study, right? Starting costs more than continuing, right? The entire battle is at this threshold. Activation energy. In science, chemistry, there's a concept called activation energy. I've mentioned it a few times on the channel before, but the amount of energy required to initiate a chemical reaction is always going to be more than needed to keep the reaction running. Or put into layman's terms, starting is harder than keeping something up, right? Than keeping that momentum going. And the reason that starting feels so difficult, to be for a number of reasons, right? First, task ambiguity. Oh, I'll just work on it, right? Again, it's like saying, "Oh, I just work in the business." Like, what does that even mean? Genuinely, what is it? What does that mean? Like, explain it. What is work on the business? What is learn this? Like, what does that entail? It's like very vague, and because it's so vague, because there's nothing concrete, you're just not going to do it. Rather, that space is going to be filled with something a lot easier and a lot more concrete. Oh, okay, work on the business. I don't know what that means, but I can just pick up my phone and start scrolling on TikTok. Or I can open Netflix and watch the latest episode of Bloodhound. Or I just heard JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 7, Part 2, just dropped. I'll just watch that, right? Again, like work on it's not an action, right? Your brain is going to stall because it's undefined and find something a lot easier and a lot more defined. Or there's the emotional anticipation, right? The fear of doing it wrong, or what if I mess up? What if it's not good enough? What if I fail? Right? Things like this, that fear will push you away. There's also depleted resources. Oh, by 6 p.m., right? You've already depleted so much of your ego making other decisions throughout the day. So this requires active effort on my part. My tank is already low. Can I really do this right now? Right. Then also the uncertainty when it comes to identity. Am I really that kind of person? Am I the kind of person who sits down, locks in, gets to work done? Am I really the individual that I can trust to get this done? Um, and again, this self-negotiation happens at the activation threshold. But below it, that passive option is always going to win. The path of least resistance, the easiest thing to choose, is the thing you're going to choose. Now, above this activation threshold, right? This is where momentum takes over and friction drops dramatically. So if you get past this initial hump, it's going to feel like almost as if you're entering a flow state. There's no friction, there's no difficulty because the task is already started. Once the ball gets rolling, the ball is going to keep rolling. It's like what's that? Newton's law of immersion, inertia. Objects in motion stay in motion. Once you're in motion, you're not going to stop until there's a significant enough force telling you to do so, right? So the entire battle is at the starting point. This is something groundbreaking in a sense. Because if you can get over that starting point, there's not going to be anything stopping you from achieving your goal, from getting the work done, from actually making genuine progress towards this person, this ideal that you're trying to achieve, trying to become, right? So what happens, what's over that horizon, what's past that mountain is so much easier than anything you could have ever imagined. You just need to get over the climb. So we've kind of understood, okay, why this happens, like what's the reasoning, what's the science behind it, then how exactly do you solve it, right? So the solution here is the pre-decision protocol. What you need to do is close the negotiation window before it opens, right? Because that decision gets made in avoidance, right? And as Tim Urban describes, right, that monkey is going to make it, it's going to take over. It's going to kind of do what it does within that very specific moment. So, very simple. Remove the moment, right? Make it like there should not be any decision in the moment in the first place, right? Again, is using the Goethe study again, right? There's something they discovered called the inflammation intention, right? Again, this is not going to improve your motivation, but it's going to remove the decision entirely. Once the decision is no longer within that moment, there is nothing to negotiate, right? When your boss tells you that you need to turn in this assignment by exactly 8 p.m., when it's 7:59, you're not going to walk up to him and be like, oh, I thought about doing it, but the reason I didn't know I was tired, right? Maybe we should push it back to 10 o'clock because I already know, like, I don't think I'm going to be able to get it fast enough. I don't think my mental state, like, no, you're just going to get it done by 8 o'clock because that's what was already, that was the decision that was made, and that's the decision you're going to have to follow. We're going to do the same thing here, right? Once you've already made a concrete decision, when the moment horizon comes where you need to like get started on that task, get that thing done, you're not going to negotiate yourself out of it. Right? What we're aiming for here is strategic automacy, automacy, automaticity. Oh my goodness. Right? Strategic automaticity, right? So when you encounter this cue, right? Some kind of trigger, right? Okay, when this happens at this time, I'm going to do this thing, right? So the behavior is going to fire without an active choice, right? This is what separates a tip from a genuine system that you can follow, right? A tip will tell you what to do, but a protocol, a system removes the need to decide in the first place, right? Once that need for decision is gone, then you're just going to get things done, right? So again, what exactly is the pre-decision protocol? It's 3 moves, do it the night before. This is not a negotiation. This is not it's not a suggestion. If you want to get the work done every single day consistently without fail, then you are going to listen to these 3 steps. There's no way around it. Step 1 is the if-then statement. Okay, when I finish dinner, example being, when I finish dinner, I sit at my desk, I'm going to open my dashboard, and I'm going to start the first task, right? this specificity, right? So rather than being ambiguous, goodness gracious, just work on the business later. No, you're gonna be very clear, okay? When I finish dinner, I'm going to sit down on my desk and I'm going to finish the first page of my business planner. I'm going to send out 10 outreach. Like, make it very concrete that you can check after, did I do this or did I not do this? Right? Again, then step two, right, is action first, right? Not just work on it, but like, what is the exact first move? Okay, I'm going to write 200 words. Am I going to plan out this ad? Am I going to, watch the course, learn this skill, right? This needs to be something pre-decided, written, and very visible before you sit, right? It needs to be concrete. You can't keep it in your head because then you'll just change it to something more, oh, I didn't really fully decide, so I'll just open Netflix instead, or just, oh yeah, I'll start after I watch this episode, right? And then step three, you're going to establish a floor, this being the minimum execution standard. Again, this can be anything, 25 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, doesn't really matter, right? It needs to be something so silly, so inconsequential, so insignificant that you would feel like an idiot for not doing it. You could use the gym, for example. Okay, my floor, you're doing 5 push-ups. You cannot do 5 push-ups, 8 push-up, 2 push-ups, right? Like, you should feel stupid for not getting that thing done, right? And again, this is one deliverable. It's not necessarily quality. It doesn't be like super reps. Just get the thing done, right? This is going to prevent it's not even worth starting in. It's too late. I won't get that much done anyways. No, you're gonna get something done because you would feel like a genuine incompetent if you did not. Again, like, once that minimum execution standard is set, right, the only negotiation left is whether or not to honor a decision that you made with full resources earlier. Right? Again, something so small and inconsequential, that you would just feel dumb to not, right? And again, this was done across 94 studies with Gowitzer again in 2006. They did a meta-analysis. So it's not just a motivational tip. It's not just some woo-woo productivity guru advice. No, this is genuine psychological, studied, tangible stuff here, right? So this is a structural intervention, right? This is concrete, to put simple. So the shift here is there is the individual who negotiates with themselves every single evening versus someone who pre-decides and executes. You're not going to win the argument with Urban's monkey, right? So just prevent the argument from ever taking place in the first place. So, again, this is who you're going to become, right? You're after watching this video, what you need to do is make that identity shift, right? Becoming someone who pre-decides, right? Deciding beforehand, then executing when the time comes, right? Because again, you're already someone who's capable, right? This is not about motivating you more, but this is closing the gap between your self-concept and your actual behavior, right? Your behavior needs to confirm that self-concept of capability. So understand that self-negotiation, it's not a personality trait. It's not just some flaw that you had since birth. You were just born, oh, I'm a procrastinator, guys. I've grown up, I've always procrastinated. No, it's a design problem. And a design system makes it irrelevant. If the problem is with the design, if you fix the design, the problem is gone, right? It's very one-to-one. There's nothing complex going on here. So, again, you don't win the argument with the monkey. You can't. You just stop having the argument altogether. So, um, here's what we covered, right? First, self-negotiation, right? This being the internal bargaining between intention and action. Next, we went over the intention action gap, right? This coming from 30 years of research, finding that names, where exactly you're losing, where exactly you're failing. Next, we hit the hesitation window, right? 5 seconds. This is where the monkey takes the reins. This is why you're so prone to negotiating yourself out of getting the work done. Then you view your future self as a stranger, right? This is why deferring it, pushing it off to later feels costless, but also how to make it real as well. Then the no deadline trap, right? Why the panic monster, as Urban describes it, never comes, but what you should replace it, right? Then lastly, we went over the predecision protocol, right? This being the structural fix that closes the window before it opens. Again, now you have something tangible. You not only understand what the problem is, but you know how to solve it as well. And as for some action steps, this is what you're going to do right now the second this video ends. Excuse me. So tonight, what I want you to do is write one if-then plan for tomorrow's session, right? Be specific, right? Specific to you, okay? When I get home, after I take a shower, after I eat dinner, whatever the case for you is. Specific first, right? Make it tangible, something that you could say at the end of the day, did I do this or did I not do this? I better not hear any, oh, work on the skill or do some progress on the business. No, I need something concrete. Second, set your minimum execution standard, right? 25 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, whatever the case is, right? Make it so small that you feel like an idiot to not do it. And then write that before you leave work. Then last, this week, I want you to name your future self-specific outcome. Not, again, build a business. I want you a number. Like, get a number. Make it tangible. Give it a date, right? Make it concrete. If I do not achieve this by July 28th, there will be consequences, right? Again, if you follow these 3 steps, I guarantee that you're going to start seeing progress in the right direction. And if you're someone who knows what you want to build, but keep talking yourself out of starting, then click the first link in the description. Apply to work with me. We'll build a system that allows you to overcome this self-negotiation and actually get things done. So, other than that, hopefully you found some value in this video. Hopefully you learned something new, and hopefully you realize that this self-negotiation, this procrastination, this hesitation is actually something that can be very easily solved. So, click this video here. It's going to be somewhere on the screen if you want to learn something new. Like and subscribe if this video gave your struggle a name. Other than that, catch you on the next one. Peace.